Hello and welcome to the very first ever Warwick University eSports HADO tournament. Our two teams today, in the red, Ken balls are huge, and blue, how do I play? This is a first game in a league match between the two teams, so they're going to be playing 7 games. This first one is a freestyle match, so 3 versus 3. Players have free reign upon the stats that they choose, and obviously therefore the good range of tactics to employ against each other. Although you can't see it here, you're allowed to mark the ground out. There is a marker line between the two teams, controlling, making sure they both stay on their half level. Nice and even at the moment, coming up on the halfway mark, 3 points apiece. Both teams seem pretty evenly matched at this point in the competition. Nice range of low play, high play, intermixing of shields, and fairly good motion. Obviously, said these teams have had a bit of practice over the last couple of days, but this is their first ever league tournament and the first real bit of consistent competitive play. 15 seconds to go, 7 points apiece. Really nice even game. Hopefully this will be indicative of the whole match going forwards from here. 5 seconds, 1 more point. 2 points, nicely done there. So in that last dying seconds, how do I play? Steal the match away from Ken's balls are huge. So nice play there. You can see on the match statistics, both Matt and Jonathan being the respective shielders for their teams, not scoring any points, but providing heavy cover for the other players as they go through. Phenomenal hit rate there from player 5, Suket, 70.3% accuracy. That's an incredible level. Reds answer that, Ryan, with 59.7%. So good actually both teams. That's 70% though. That's quite unusual to see that level of accuracy coming through. Okay, which is cycling around now, getting ready for match 2. So a league match, for those that are joining us or don't know, consists of 7 games. Each game is 80 seconds long, plus any overtime should it end in a draw. There is a 100-second recovery period between each game to allow teams to get the breath back, decide the tactics for the next game, and set the statistics accordingly. So that first match was a freestyle. Now we're moving on to a scale 1 match. So each of the players has 4 statistics that they can change. Speed, how fast the shot travels. Scale, how large the shot is. Energy recharge rates, how often they can fire. And shields, which is how many defensive shields they can raise. So in this game 2 of the league match, this is a scale 1 game. That means that they must use scale 1, so they can't put any of their points into scale, but their ability points, of which they get 6 per player, can be spread however they like amongst the other 3 statistics. So we might see some very heavy shield use going in here. We can see a lot of speed, high recharge rates. Obviously, the Reds, they've definitely gone for speed and recharge rate on the way those shots are going. Now, the key element to this this round is that it's about accuracy. So scale 1 shots are small. They may not look it so much on the screen here, but when you're in there as a player, they're about the size of a ping pong ball. So you've got to be really bang on with your accuracy. So here we go. Game number 2. Currently 1-0 in favour of how do I play. Nice bit of fire going on from both teams. But as we can see here, obviously the actually issue caused by the scale 1 shots is slowing down the point scoring. Nice move with the red shield though. And first score goes to blue. So red lead player there on the centre line. He's doing a reasonably good job of distracting fire, but he's staying much too upright. He's slightly much lower on passes. That centre point of the pitch, he keeps bouncing. It's actually the most dangerous point of the pitch you can be on. Because not only are you moving in a very small area, therefore got easy to hit from your team, any shots that are firing at your teammates, you're automatically running into that crossfire. So it's a very dangerous position to play at, especially if you're moving at the same body height as your teammates. So generally, when you see more experienced teams playing like this, you see that centre player playing really low to the ground, so as to be out of the way of any crossfire that's going into the legs. So 2-point lead here for blue. 3-point lead, going up on the 10-second mark. Looking like it's in the second match, taking to how do I play. And this is an incredible comeback here. The balls are huge. 2, 1, and 0. 6 points to 3. How do I play? Take the second game in this series. So obviously the series is 7. So first to take 4 games is going to win the match overall. If was being played in a larger tournament, you'd normally have you don't have point scoring associated to that. So each game you win will be worth 1 point, with a bonus point for the team that takes the majority of matches, and then you'd play a series of teams during the whole tournament, and obviously your points from all of those matches would be added together. What that means is that when you're looking at this in a bigger tournament setting, every single one of those matches counts. Okay. And cycling back around. So I said already, this is 100-second recovery break between each match. Let people get their tactics sorted out, decide who's going to do what, get the stats ready, and get up and good to play. So match 3, here we're going to change it up. This is now a 2v2, back to freestyle, so they can use the stats however they wish. However, we're now on a 2 versus 2 player game, and obviously the number of players on both sides alters the tactics that are relevant and what's useful for you. So obviously in a 3-player game, you've got a good range that you can work on between attack, control, and shielding for defense. 2v2, a little bit less so. You can either go for a straight out pairing of a heavy defense and a heavy attack, sort of like put into more MMO sort of styles, a tank and DPS sort of combo, or you both go straight out for attack. And if we're dealing with an all-out attack setup, what you need to be doing is actually focus firing on your opponents. So rather than just each taking an opponent to battle against or marking your member of the team, what you're looking to do is actually both focus fire onto a single member of the team. Take them out of play, then both focus fire onto the other one, and so on. And if you can get that bounce going, you can end up in a very dominant, controlling point on the match. It's very hard for the opposing team to come back from. Now, as we see here, both teams sort of trying out shots, shields, and so on. We have advised them already that's not a great plan, because obviously it gives a lot of your tactics away to the other team for what you've chosen. So here we go, game 3. Can the Reds pull this one back? Reds have got a level of shielding across both of their team. Blues, however, have gone for much more firepower orientated builds here. So statistically, looking at those stat sets there, I'd say it's definitely in favour of blue on this game. Nice movement from Reds though, make themselves more difficult hits are coming through, but Blues edging ahead. So if we look at those stat sets again, Reds have got a range of abilities, but they've got their points and shields. Blues haven't got shields at all. They've got speed, they've got size of shot. Basically, the shots that are coming out of blue are larger, therefore more likely to targets, and they're faster, so much harder to dodge. And what Red's throwing back the other way, smaller, so obviously harder to hit the targets, slower, and much easier to dodge. So those stat choices have really played in the favour of the blue team in this round. As we can see by the wide and scoreline, about 20 seconds left to play, Blues are a comfortable 5-point lead. So obviously the opposing team represents the points. So in 3v3 there's only 3 points available, but in 2v2 there's only 2 points available at any point in time. So yeah, 3-point lead. There's no way that Reds are going to catch that in the dying seconds of this match. So good play from Reds in terms of their movement, their evasion, physicality, but got to say, unfortunately, it was the stat choices that let them down there, and that choice to go for firepower from the blue team, definitely the right option there. I don't think we've ever seen in a 2v2 really a defensive orientated team manage to take the match. Again, Suket there, so 70% in that first round, 54.1% here in round 2. So cycling around. And back in. So, Suket definitely seems to be the player to watch on the blue team. Phenomenal accuracy all the way through there, and that's going to keep on being an issue for Reds. So, if they're paying attention to the match stats, and they get a review of those in between each game, if they want to check them out and look at what's going on, they should be trying to focus fire on Suket and trying to lock him out of the game, because he is far too dangerous at the moment. And racking up a large proportion of the blue team points. So if you've got a player like that, there's 2 key things between games, in between the games that the stats can tell you. One, is there a truly dangerous player on the opposition, or is there a standout player who's only a lot of points for them? In which case you want to make sure they're focus fired on regularly to try and keep them locked out of play or having to run so they can't aim, because they're too good at earning team points for the other team. And the second one we'll look at is remember the team who's got the smallest amount of movement. So we're looking for a player who's basically not moving very much, because then you can look to try and farm them for points. So moving into round 4 here. So round 4, this is our shields round. And just quick check the statistics going on there. So in this match, the team must spend at least 8 of their ability points, so they get 6 each. But this does include the one they all start with, so therefore 5 points between the team as a minimum on shields. So this round is all about your defensive play, both in terms of what shields you take, where you place them, how you use them. And there's a lot of very good counter shield tactics that I know these guys have been shown in terms of placing shields in front of your opponent's shields to try to basically make it useful. One of the things, see if anyone's done it, we've got some charge 3 on red, charge 3 on blue. We would expect to see some higher charge rates there. Again, that's probably more experience at the teams. They're only a few days into their life as HADO players. But when you know, if you've got a theory that your opponent's going to use shields, you don't want to have drive decks that will use shields for you. When you know they're using shields, like here, where it's a different part of the round, then that charge rate is definitely really important. And going for low charge rates does not stand you in good stead, but as they've both done it, it is very easy on this. Blues, though, starting to move ahead quite happily here. Get being allowed to just stand behind that shield and earn points for his team, and that's a really, really bad move for Reds. We've seen match after match just how dangerous he is, how much points he's scoring. Again, there, another error to get. So, moving in now. Again, good heavy shielding from Blues, but really holding the Reds off. Reds not using their shields effectively, they're popping them up, but they've got 2 new players to clear out on their shields. And 10 points to 2. A massive win there for the blue team. Unfortunately for Reds, Blues were bang on in their use of shields. They got positioning right. They were allowing their dangerous players to sit behind them. And back from the video. Okay, so that little bit clip that keeps rolling around, that's a bit of footage from the 2019 World Cup out in Tokyo. So moving into here to round 5. Round 5 is a 1v1. Again, going to see different tactics here to get the 3v3 and the 2v2. 1v1, by far and away the most effective choices we see here in terms of stats are speed and scale. Charge rate, this is probably about the only one where charge rate 1 truly becomes a viable choice, because you're not going to be firing that many shots. In reality, you're looking at clean, precise hits as you go through, because it's only one other player out there you can really focus on where they're facing, where they're looking, trying to predict where the shots are going to go. So this is about evasion and precise shots. So it's going to be interesting to see what the guys have learned over the last couple of days, how much they've really thought about how this 1v1 scenario is going to differ from the 2v3 matches they've been practicing with. And as you said, what you'd ideally see here is probably something like a 4-4-1-1 build. So speed 4, scale 4, charge rate 1 and shields 1. Obviously, our red player there is currently getting his stats set. We can see that he's gone for quick shots, which is good, but they're not big. So I think he would have probably benefited a lot more from speed and scale. He definitely seems to have a reasonable charge rate in the way he's firing there. Shields are probably your biggest no-no here, because it's so easy to focus on your opponent to try and keep your way out the shots, and the shields will just get worn down and taken down over time, and they're just not helping you get those kill points. But let's see how the match goes. So, Ryan versus James, 80 seconds on the clock. Okay, see James straight away there. We've got speed, and yep, here we are. So speed 4, scale 3, charge 2, and speed 4, scale 2, charge 3. So again, what we said at the start of the match there in terms of what we generally see is the more effective stat sets here. blue should have the slight edge, just because that slightly larger scale on the shots, both getting speed 4 though, so quite hard to evade. Also in this 1v1, when you start getting knocked back, it's quite difficult to try and get yourself back into the match. Nice duck there from James, took himself under the incoming shots. And it's 1 point apiece, 30 seconds to play. It's another reason why you've got to keep mobile. During your 3 seconds of knockout time, when you get to get your breath back, if you're standing still in that final second, all your opponent has to do is fire to the centre mass, and they're going to pick up a straight kill shot. So effectively able to spawn camp if you stand still during a knockout time. And if you're just going to give them 3 points, well, why shouldn't they? One life marker left in play for red. 5 seconds on the clock. Can blue get that last kill? And no. First match taken by the red team. Nice play there from Ryan. 2 points to 1. To find the odds a little, as we said, that slightly smaller scale was likely to be a problem for him, but proved us wrong, which is always nice to see. Good movement there, 70 metres odd from James, 50 metres from Ryan. So to put those in perspective, you normally see quite a lot of movement in a single player game because you haven't got the firepower or the shields or anything else from your teammates to really give you any cover. But we're generally expecting, as you get more and more experienced, obviously that movement rate is forced up because your opponents get more and more accurate, so you have to move more to evade their shots. And so you're generally expecting a more experienced players here to be kicking around that 100 metre mark, but still really good movement from both players there, and a really nice bit of gameplay. Good accurate shooting, keeping them in. Well, 18% to 20% there on the actual hit rates, but a lovely one-shot kill. And we're cycling back in now, moving into round 6. Okay, so round 6 is another 3v3, but now we've got a whole new set of criteria. So every player at the start of a match has 6 points that they can split between their abilities that controls the speed of the shot, the size of the shot, the charging rate, and the number of defensive shields. So therefore, across a team of 3, you have 18 points that can be used to boost your abilities with. Now in round 6, you're only allowed to spend 8 of those 18 points across your entire team of 3. So it's up to you how you choose to split those points. You may choose to completely empower one player, allow them to have all 6 of their points and split one apiece between your other teammates. You might choose to spread them across your team. You know, the options are totally up to you, and there's a lot of tactics in how you choose to do this. And this is one where it's very important not to start firing shots off before the beginning of the match, because any point up to the beginning of the match, your opponents can choose to tweak and alter their stats. And if they've managed to realise how you've chosen to split yours, they may well be making choices to alter theirs as they go. Because obviously, you've got here, you're not just trying to work against these reduced stat sets for yourselves and from your opponents, you're also trying to second guess their choices. Because it can be very, very important to know who's the dangerous player on the opposition team, basically who's got those extra stat points, and who are basically just there to try and distract you and try and dodge your shots as best they can, because they're just running on the baseline of a single point in each ability category. So remember I had a crew there, just checking everyone's stats, making sure everything's tweaked and ready. The players also just log themselves back into the HADO Connect system. So HADO Connect is a free app that sits alongside the sport, available on the App Store and Play Store. And it allows you to create your identity, so where we saw where the guys are playing, so they've got player names above them, we can track how they're doing. Link yourself together as teams, so you appear as your team name rather than red team or blue team. And also it then records your game stats and match stats for you, match on match, to see how you're going. Which is very useful to see then how you're improving over time. Also to look at builds and choices your opponents made in previous matches, and go back over it and go, okay, see if there's any pattern to certain stat builds that give you trouble, and then trying to think of ways that you can work to train against those as you go forward. Final check on stat numbers going through. Red's doing a very good job of showing off what the choices are. Fortunately, Blues hadn't logged in at that point, so they weren't able to see. But here we go. Beginning of round 6. So Red's currently trailing 1 match to 4. So they can't win the overall match, but they can still try and finish with a bit more pride. See now, game that evasion's really starting to pick up from both teams. Ducks start to come in. A lot more footwork, a lot more manoeuvrability, which is really nice to see that pick up in tactics as they've been going game on game here. As I said, they've had a bit of practice over the last few days, but they're still relatively inexperienced teams. And what you see there is this constant lift in ability and tactics game on game during the early stages of the HADO team. So 1-1 as we hit the 42nd. Ducky on the front line there, keeping himself clear and under. Red's just taking the leader. So Ryan, player 2 there, and Red is the player to be watching for. So it's like Blue's chosen to boost to get, which is not surprising. He's been by far and away the most dangerous player to date from the perspective of the Red team. 2 points apiece. The last couple of seconds here. 5 seconds on the clock. Score for either side is going to take this match. And we've got a draw. Okay, so draw, you have 10 seconds of overtime, 10 seconds to get your breath back. You do not get anything restored, so you don't get any life markers back, you don't get any shields back. And it's the first knockout on any player to take the match. So, interesting to see who the two teams choose to focus on. Obviously, you'd expect them to all focus on the same person with the minimum chance to get out of the way. And Reds take it, 3 points to 2. So the current series, it is 2 games to Red, 4 to Blue. Nice firing all the way through there. Now we said that Ryan was had the points for the Red team and got all 3 of their kills there. So obviously worthwhile choice. Suket, however, despite how good he's been in the previous rounds, had the point boost from Blues, but didn't actually get either of their knockouts. And we've cycled back in. Okay, so we're working our way down through our 100-second wait between games here into our final match. So this is round 7. Round 7 is a return to the 3v3 freestyle. So any stat choices, any abilities, as you choose to use them, opening up that full range of tactics and different elements of play. And Blue here, benefiting from the fact that they have a sub. So looking at some changes out here, fresh and cycling around legs to keep fresher legs on the pitch. It's one of those ones we'll never really know how much that's benefited them against Reds, but they definitely seem to overall be the stronger team, and being able to cycle players in and out is never going to hurt on that. So the Blues just making their final choices on their mix of 3 players for the last round of the match. Reds on a final strategy and tactics talk. Okay, so it's logged in and prepped. Okay, so 2 blue players, just waiting for the 3rd blue player to enter the arena. There's that 100-second break on this final match to start to tick down. It's one of those things when you're watching from the outside, that 100 seconds just seems to keep ticking by. But when you're on the pitch, the 100 seconds, especially on this last one, goes really quickly because you've played 6 high-paced matches already, and 100 seconds on the last one never seems quite long enough. You go, final choice being made on stats. Last call being given out to teams to get their options sorted. Just missing 1 red and 1 blue at this stage. Okay, it's all the red team in. Got the final choice is blue. And we're good to go. So, final match. Red v blue. Can Red take this one to finish at 3-4, or is it going to be a 5-2 victory for blue? The shield moves. Good stuff as blue there as he stepped in to bring the shield up. Excellent dodging there from James. Gets that barrage of shots that came his way. That's starting to very much slow down in the centre line there. Some of the earlier games he we saw a lot more speed on his motion. That front line position can be really hard. So fast and so mobile. And really start playing a lot lower. He's doing a good job on his distractions, drawing a fire towards himself. But not taking as much pressure off his teammates as he would like. But he's definitely start to mark those real players and stop them being given free range fire. So Blues 2 points ahead here, with the 22nd mark remaining. Getting a lovely dodging from James. Really good coming from him there. The difference is we're getting a lot of fire focused his way, which he's having the advantage of putting pressure off his teammates. And that's a 7-4 win in the final round for the blue team. So how do you play this game? Team Blue take the series 5 games to 2. And we now have our Warwick University eSports team that will be entering into the HADO tournament at Insomnia on Easter weekend. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you more qualifiers as we go through.